What's goody? Guess what? Game Theory came out with the video, and now we talk about Friday Night at Freddy's, bro. The other FNaF, not Friday Night Funkin', Friday Night at Freddy's, bro. At first I saw FNaF, and I thought Friday. Yo, I can't even talk no more. Let's just get right to the video, baby. Yo, I'm excited.
You stupid ghost thought you could get revenge on me? Do you know who I am?
Who are you,
I'm
King?
William Afton. I always come back. I am Golden Bonnie.
Let's go, baby.
I'm about to end this man's whole
Whole
career.
career. His whole career. Game
Internet,
Theory.
welcome to Game Theory, the wet spring lock
I love
soup
Game
clamp
Theory.
down on your subscription feeds. And oh my gosh, guys, finally, after all that waiting, after being patient for so long, after all the delays, it has finally arrived.
Let's
It
go!
is here,
Friday Night
a
at
brand
Freddy's,
new Freddy
baby.
game just released where we finally get to go up against Vanny the Killer Bunny. Here it is, Security Breach.
Let's
Freddy's
go,
Rage.
baby.
Didn't know it had a subtitle. Apparently it's about an onslaught of angry furries on the attack. Oh, wait.
That's-
Sorry, misread that title. It's a Fury. Fury's
Furies.
Rage. Very important.
I was
distinction
like,
there.
bro,
Well, anyway,
big difference between a furry and a fury, bro. Relax.
let's fire
Relax.
this puppy up.
Let's see if they're ready for Freddy.
Okay, Freddy. How could it happen?
Not quite what I expected on multiple
Yeah, it's
fronts.
different.
A game-long apology for all the delays with the real security breach.
They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me when they find out that I have to delay the game again. What am I
Dog,
gonna
that's
do?
You can tell that Scott's
hilarious.
feeling a little guilty these days, huh? Also, apparently
Yeah.
he sleeps in a fairy tale bed. Learning a lot about you with this one, Scott. Anyway, just
Yeah.
because the official game is still TBD doesn't mean that there's any less to theorize about. We've got a new book, we've got secret
Let's
bosses,
go,
and
baby.
we've got
Let's
a lot
theorize,
of pent-up
baby.
theories behind the floodgates just waiting
Let's
to pour out.
theorize,
So
baby.
today, I'm doing another roundup of short FNaF theories. Some looking back to the past, some looking ahead towards the future, and some that are so out there that, well, you're gonna see when we get there. So
Okay.
open your minds, your hearts, and your hollow animatronic chest cavities
Let's
reserved for the bodies
go.
of dead children, because I'm shoving theories in everywhere.
I love
Theory
it, I
number
love it, I
one,
love
we
it.
definitely play as Michael Afton in FNaF 3. In the newest
Do we?
Fazbear Fright book, Gumdrop Angel, released at the beginning of May, we as always have our three main horror novellas. The first
Okay.
is the title feature, Gumdrop
Gumdrop
Angel, a
Angel,
tragic
okay.
tale about a girl who transforms into a giant gummy bear pinata thing that gets eaten
I remember
alive
that.
by a swarm of saliva-mouthed kids at a Freddy's birthday party. Talk
Mm-hmm.
about your hygiene concerns. This one became a whole heck of a lot scarier reading it in the aftermath of a global pandemic. But as you might imagine, not a whole lot of lore to be found in a story about a sentient gummy
That
bear.
is
Our
true.
second story, Sergio's
Sergio's
Lucky
Lucky
Day,
Day.
is all about Balloon Boy, or should I say
Balloon
Lucky
Boy,
Boy,
Lucky
a doll
Boy.
who's wearing a propeller hat and holding both a balloon and a sign that says, "I'm a lucky boy." In
I
this
love
story,
it.
Our main character Sergio finds the doll and ends up buying a lottery ticket because of its advice. The next day, Sergio finds that he won himself $600,000.
Jesus Christ.
That's
I don't remember
It's
that.
a story that's a bit confusing because the doll does seem to offer good advice, encouraging Sergio to leave a job that he hates, leave a girlfriend that he hates, upgrade
Yeah,
his
do
life
it.
in small ways, all things that improve Sergio's existence. But
I
as
see
a
you,
result,
King.
Sergio becomes obsessed with the doll, asking it for advice on
For everything?
including how he can look good for his big high school reunion. Lucky Boy
That's
suddenly takes the chance to
kinda
turn
weird.
evil and tells him to remove his ears, scalp himself,
No
cut off his
way.
eyelids, chisel his lips,
No
trim his nose,
way.
and reuse other body parts to become taller. As you might imagine, Sergio makes
Dude,
a big impression at
what?
the reunion. Again, not a whole lot to say here since it seems so tangential to the character
Oh
from the
my
games. I'm assuming that this is
goodness.
going to end up being connected to the upcoming Book 9 story, The Puppet Carver, but we're just going to have to wait and see. And just when you thought that this book wasn't going to deliver on any lore reveals, we get to our third story,
Let's
What We
go.
Found, which is quite literally
What
just a
We
retelling
Found,
of
baby.
FNaF 3. Stop me if this one starts to sound familiar. A night security guard working at Fazbear Frights, a horror attraction themed around the murders and disappearances happening at the Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria franchise, begins suffering from severe severe hallucinations the day the crew brings in
Oh,
a Springtrap
wow.
suit found hidden in the walls of a different building. Hudson, our night guard, winds up trapped in a pizza oven and gets roasted to death at the end of his shift. It is really sad and also a really
It sounds
obvious parallel
sad,
to the
bro.
events of FNaF 3,
Sheesh.
right? But here's the thing, it also really feels like it's meant to confirm for us that Michael Afton is who we play as in FNaF 3. If you remember back to a couple years ago, I had a theory that Mike Afton is our player character in pretty much every game in the franchise. We see the name Mike on FNaF 1's paycheck, we see the name Mike again on the monitor and sister location. In fact, the player's guide for that game, the Freddy Files, practically confirms that part of the theory. So that's Mike appearing in 2 games, but what about FNaF 2 and 3?
Yeah, I don't remember that
one.
one.
Appear anywhere in either of them. Well, in FNaF 1, we know that Mike eventually gets fired for tampering with the animatronics.
Yes, that is true.
Something that would happen if, you know, he was a rotting corpse walking around from restaurant to restaurant to free the souls of the dead kids trapped in the suits put there by his father. So isn't it a little coincidental
Look
that
at that
Fred Smith,
lore.
our protagonist from FNaF 2, gets fired for the exact same reasons, tampering with the animatronics and
then odor.
It's also why Michael would keep getting attacked. We know from sister location that he looks just like his dear old daddy. And lastly, it's why Golden Freddy says it's me every time he appears. It's the brother soul crying child trapped in the suit, recognizing and reaching out to his sibling Mike. But then, what about FNaF 3? When I first presented the theory, I thoughtfully omitted FNaF 3. It made sense to me from a narrative angle, but in terms of actual physical evidence, there was a whole lot to point to outside of the hallucinations. Since the
There's a lore book?
jump scares in FNaF 3 were moments pulled from both FNaF 1 and 2, it implies that the person seeing them must have been present in both those locations. But beyond that, yeah, bupkiss. However, what we found may have just given us our missing piece. Our security guard Hudson in the story has a very tragic existence. His dad took his own life at an early age, and his mother got remarried to an abusive man named Lewis. And this guy is awful. Like, he is real bad. Eventually, we learn that Hudson seems to have burned his house down, killing this violent man in the process, and then repressing those memories. Fast forwarding back to the present day, as he's tormented by Springtrap, he hears his dad's voice coming from the suit. That, along with a former abusive teacher named Mr. Atkin, or Mr. Adkin, depending on which page you're talking about. I'm looking at you, proofreaders. You got some splaining to do. Anyway, Hudson kills his violent father in a fire. A father whose voice comes out of Springtrap, along with another person associated with childhood trauma and with a name suspiciously close to Afton. The security guard himself then dies in a fire in a tightly contained pizza oven. To me, it sounds a heck of a lot like the journey of Mike, who would also be responsible for burning his spring-trapped serial killer father to death at the end of FNaF 3 before he himself meets a fiery end in FNaF 6, also trapped inside of a small box. It's essentially the confirmation that I've been waiting on for years.
Me too, brother. I'm not gonna lie.
FNaF 3, here's a small observation that didn't fit anywhere, but I wanted to call out. You know how we're pretty confident that Golden Freddy was possessed by 2 spirits, Crying Child and Cassidy, the vengeful spirit? Well, it seems like Scott may have been hinting at that since FNaF 3.
No way!
Here's a
Bro, that's big. Yo, this man is so smart. He does his research. I would have never thought of that.
Photo of the bad ending from that
No
game.
way.
Notice how the mask in the background, Golden Freddy, has 2 lights on in its eyes instead of just 1 like all the others. Each light would be representative of a spirit trapped in the suit.
Dude, no way, bro. Oh, okay. This, yo, I feel like this man is heavy on Reddit. And then he just like, cause I'm like, how do you get all this information? Are you really that invested and smart? Dude, man.
Theory number 2,
Shout out Reddit.
Cassidy died in the ball pit. Recently, it was confirmed by Scott Cawthon on Reddit that the Fazbear Frights book series will end at number 11. Random number, with the 12th mini book full of stories that didn't make the cut acting as a bonus. Gotta admit, it's a bit of a shame because this whole time I was hoping they would get 76 more out of this thing, just so we could make a joke along the lines of, was that the right of 87? Anyway, it means that we're in the end game now, specifically with the story of Detective Larson and the Stitchwraith, the overarching narrative that happens in the epilogue of each installment. And that's nothing to sneeze at, my friends. Is that idiom acceptable after 2020? Anyway, it's a big deal since this is the story that's historically had the biggest lore reveals. Most notably, the hints that led us to believe that Golden Freddy had 2 souls trapped inside of him instead of
I know! That was
only
big,
3
dude. Big.
before the end of the series, this story needs to have itself a really big payoff. So when we last left our heroes, they had just battled a 15-foot trash rabbit called the Afton amalgamation. By the end, Larson got infected with the glitch trap virus, and Jake, the remaining spirit inside inside the Stitchwraith realized that he could use his, I don't know, his remnant powers to basically go into people's memories and make the good ones stronger in order to help them. Quote, maybe he could pull a memory out, a good one, and make it bigger and brighter than the rest. If he could, he could ease the man's pain. It was almost like blowing up a balloon, only the balloon was a memory and the air
then he makes
was
it
Jake's
bigger and
will.
better.
It's about on par with the level of insanity you'd expect from FNaF in the year of our lolbit 2021.
That is true.
And while that's certainly an interesting story detail, what I instead want to focus on is Larson's half of the plot. The detective who's been trying to piece together all the mysteries around Fazbear Entertainment.
Yes.
Being infected by the Afton virus has had some weird side effects on him. Specifically, it's allowed him to hop between the memories of a bunch of Afton's victims. Quote, he was getting glimpses of the past. They were memories, but not his own. These images belonged to others from different places and different times. So it feels like this is the literary device that's going to allow the books to explain the missing children's incident. Larson is going to get clues via this memory to either see for himself or get the clues to investigate what happened to Susie, Gabriel, Fritz, Jeremy.
I'm sorry I'm not talking as much as y'all would like me to, but I'm so invested because I'm learning. I'm actually learning. Oh my goodness, bro. Like he's literally uncovering so much things I would have never thought of.
But then things start to take an unexpected turn. One final quote. As his mind swept him from one visit to the past to another, he always saw the same thing in between. He saw a ball pit. Oh boy, here we go,
That's
friends.
big, dude.
Get ready, Shark.
Come on.
You about to be jumped. You see, despite all the craziness of the Fazbear Fright story, they've all roughly held to the same logic. Technology infects humans, and skeletons become haunted, people can be replicated, but there was one that always stood out. For those of you who don't remember, the title story of the very first book was Into the Pit. The story of a time-traveling ball pit that allowed a boy named Oswald to go back to the past to visit the year 1985 and see the after effects of the missing children's incident. As he does this, he's chased down by Spring Bonnie disguised as his father. It was weird, because time travel is always weird, but you know, we didn't think too much of it at the time because it was
I honestly forgot all about that, dude.
One-off stories. But now, my friends, we're coming back to it. Of all the 24 stories that Fazbear Frights has had, this is the one that the big overarching narrative of the series suddenly deems important enough to come back to for some reason. The time travel ball pit. And that's not our only clue that this thing's important. Remember Security Breach, Furry's Rage? More like Matt Pep's Rage at this point, because not only does the game include a dab and Chica, but it also features a secret boss battle if you complete hard mode. A secret boss battle against the slithering reference to FNaF 4's confusing lore. Chica without her beak, the 6 a.m. alarm clock face, the FNaF 4 locked box, what appears to be an IV bag in the back there. Basically, in this one sprite, we have Scott acknowledging that the real final boss of this whole damn series is figuring out what FNaF 4 was trying to tell us. It's also him poking fun at the FNaF 4 dream theory, considering the thing's name in the source code is Dreamgeist. But of all the stuff that's hidden inside of that head, there's a few random round objects that don't really fit anything from FNaF 4. Are they Easter eggs? Or maybe they're balls from a ball pit, considering that balls and ball pits have never once been important to this series. And in the level where you fight the Dreamgeist, we see screenshots from previous games. Sister location blueprints, a camera feed from FNaF 1, again implying some level of time travel, or spanning across time, because remember, Dream Theory came out before Sister Location was released, which makes that FNaF 5 blueprint reference really stand out here. By no means am I saying that there's time travel in the games or anything like that, but the sudden reemergence of the Fazbear Frights opens up a few interesting possibilities. One, that Cassidy died in the pit. Remember, the vengeful spirit has powers that go...
Wait, dude, that is a bold claim, bro. But he could be right. Did Cassidy really die in the pit? Bro.
Beyond all the other spirits, to the extent that it's able to trap Afton in a state between life and death. So if anyone or anything is gonna imbue a ball pit with time powers, Cassidy seems like the one to do it. And we know that someone did die in there because both In the Pit and the latest epilogue make a point about the pit's sticky balls. Get your mind out of the gutter there, people. Quote, study the plastic balls, the substance covering the plastic surface.
Yo, come on. You can't say that.
Blood. And here I thought the worst thing that happened in a ball pit was getting pink eye. Fire up the golden Freddy in the ball pit.
I get pink eye.
Boys. 2, that the series is going to end with Larson and the Stitchwraith using the ball pit to save the missing children from Afton and release their spirits. Why would I assume something like this? Well, giving Larson memory powers would be enough to tell the kid's story. Let him see glimpses of their trauma, clues that lead him on an investigation. The ball pit, though, becomes necessary if the story plans on him physically interacting with those kids. So I wouldn't be surprised if the ending of this entire book series is unwinding the thread that started it all. The missing Missing children's incident kids are saved, which
Yo.
in the process undoes all of the other horrific stories that spin out from the Fazbear pizzerias. In the process,
No
Scott
way.
retroactively gives all the sad
Dude,
stories from the
this man is a genius. A genius. A genius. I would have... Bro, I would have never thought of
Fazbear
that.
Fright series a happy ending. And finally, number 3,
Yes.
Detective Larson becomes Afton in what is a self-perpetuating time loop scenario. Oh, sure. You all laugh. And trust me, I think it's
I
dumber
think that's
than
a wild
YouTuber
claim.
boxing. But hear me out here. We have ourselves
Okay.
a character, Larson, infected by, as the book puts it, Afton's darkness. We also have ourselves a ball pit that allows him to go back in time for some reason that's going to be important to the narrative. So what
Okay.
if Larson winds up going back in time to investigate, only for the darkness to take over and turn him into William Afton, setting all the events of the story into motion? Who knows, maybe we truly do exist in the darkest timeline and Scott Cawthon gave the green light to a
Interesting.
story that allows Afton to be a creation of his own future self. Tell you what, it would explain how Afton was able to create such futuristic advanced robotics when he was literally in the early 80s, because that's something that will never get explained. Like I said, that theory is real dumb, but you know, it is on the table. I wouldn't
That's
put it past
true.
the series. Time travel opens up all sorts of dumb decisions, and time loops are real hot right now. And heck, we do see a lot of ball pits in that new trailer, one that comes complete with a day-night mechanic. Huh? Will I be right?
Yo,
Will I be
it's a
wrong? We got
wild
ourselves
claim, bro, but if you're right, hey, that's big, bro.
3 more books and an indeterminate wait for security breach to arrive, so you can bet the theories are just going to get more and more ridiculous until that day
yeah,
comes. So in
they-
the meantime,
it's pretty wild.
remember to actually listen to my dear friends Rhett and Link's new podcast, Ronstadt. If you like FNaF,
Oh, real quick, I forgot to plug myself, dude. Actually, yo, if you could check out fangoverfank.com, the link will be in the description below. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Peace out, y'all.